Hi everyone, and welcome to this short webinar where we'll talk about how to turn every lesson into a STEM career lesson. All of you on the call today or watching this recording of the webinar are teachers and administrators from Keller ISD. I am really thrilled to be on the call with you today. We are an awarded vendor with Keller Independent School District, and I'm really excited because I see that Keller has a robust CTE program, lots of personalized learning opportunities, as well as a well-developed gifted and talented program, which fits very nicely into all the resources that I offer here at Career in STEM. So let's get started. So I'm Ashley Pareda. I am the owner of Career in STEM. I started Career in STEM in 2017. It's actually under the umbrella of Greater Good Consultants, which is how you may see it under your approved vendor list. So this is my beautiful family. I show you this to let you know that, of course, my kids are cute, but also to let you know that everything that I've developed in my store and all the resources on my website have been created and tried and true, tested with real students. So whether it's things that I've done with my own kids here over the summer, activities I've been involved in planning and creating for different school districts that I work with, my local schools, church youth group, 4-H, lots of different programs, but regardless, everything that I've done and created and that is available to you has been done with real kids. So first, I know this is probably just preaching to the choir since most of you are well aware of the opportunity, but there is tremendous need and opportunity within STEM fields. There'll be 3.5 million new jobs in STEM within the next 5 years. STEM professionals earn double the national average, and across the country, and especially in Texas, there is an acute need for qualified STEM workers. Nationwide, over 2 million jobs are going unfilled every year, and companies are desperate for talented STEM workers. So the earlier we can raise awareness about opportunities in STEM and prepare our nation's best and brightest to enter these positions, the better our nation's economy is going to be. My goal for you in this webinar is to help you help your students define their interests and connect those interests to careers. My approach is doing the same thing, so the same content, but using a new lens. That new lens being the STEM career lens. So our mission is to turn every lesson into a STEM career lesson, but it is not by doing something different or extra. I feel so often in the world of education, we're bombarded with the latest and greatest and the next new thing we're expected to implement and jargon galore. That is not the purpose of this webinar. That is not the approach that I use for any of my resources that we're about to see. What I advocate for is doing what you are already going to do, but doing it with a new lens, the STEM career lens. And in doing so, your lessons will be transformed to mirror the practices of real STEM professionals rather than STEM or knowledge for knowledge's sake. So when I say same content, new lens, what do I mean? I have 2 different examples to show you what I mean by this. So everything in our store, we do sell lessons that already use this approach for pre-K to 12. I'll do an example for elementary and an example for high school. So the first one that we'll talk about had to do with a lesson that I actually did in my son's kindergarten class last year. So his teacher approached me. She was looking for some help in transforming one of her lessons into a STEM career lens. So the lesson that we were going to use was something that she did every single year to teach students at the elementary level, kindergarten level, an intro to experimentation, so to speak. Specifically, it was about heart rate. And it happened to be around this time of the year, around Valentine's Day. So I decided to use the exact same lesson, and that's what I do in all of my work. We use the exact same content, but we deliver it through the lens of a STEM career. The STEM career that relates easily to heart rate is a scientist that studies hearts, a cardiologist. So to begin the lesson, and this is an example of what all the lessons look like in my store, they're all 5E, and broken down very simple, so every teacher can be a STEM teacher. But back to the lesson. So the students started by connecting hearts and Valentine's Day. Then we looked at some pictures of hearts to find the real heart. Then we defined a scientist who studies hearts, which is a cardiologist. And then we did the exact same thing that she's been doing for the last 12 years of this activity, this science experiment, where students design their own experiment to test their heart rates and see how they could change it, see how it could be measured, and see rudimentary level of how to analyze their data. So we did the exact same lesson, but we named it as a cardiologist. So we made a STEM career connection easily, simply, did the same thing, but through that different lens, the STEM career lens. Going back, now the high school example. I taught 9th grade physical science, so this was one of my favorite lessons because it's really hard, but I found that this lesson made such a challenging standard easier. So when you're talking about motion stability, magnetic fields, it can be a very hard to understand, hard to grasp topic. What we did is the same thing I'd always been doing, but through the lens of an MRI technician. So MRI machines use magnetic fields to make images of what's inside your body. So we still did the inquiry-based lab of making this little thing that shows how a magnetic field works and that they exist, but I called that thing an MRI machine. So this is not rocket science. This is not even something that I've invented. This is just really, to me, common sense and a very easy way to add relevance to every single lesson. So we still did the lab exactly as I was going to, but rather than a more traditional conclusion, students researched that career that related, and then they wrote the conclusion in terms of that career. So not just what is magnetism and how does it work, what is magnetism and how does it work in an MRI machine? So acting as a STEM professional to answer the question and go through the lesson. So my summary of this tip here is to use the same standard, to use the same content. So still teach it exactly how you were going to teach. The only piece, especially when you're just beginning, is to just name a STEM career that connects. So for example, just the cardiologist, the fact that I named that and then we proceeded as that, it's really as basic as that. I could, of course, go further and do more, but at the very basic level, this is the easiest way to get started in making every lesson a STEM career lesson. So of course, you can do this on your own. Like I said, this is not hard. It's very common sense. Or you can use the over 150 resources that I've already created using this approach. As an awarded vendor, Keller is eligible for 50% off everything in our store. So a lot of text here. One thing I just wanted to point out and underscore is that in using the STEM career lens for every lesson, you've added instant relevance. So the purpose of this was not to make every student become a cardiologist. It was not to make every student become an MRI technician. What it was a way to add relevance. So even if a student wasn't interested in becoming an MRI technician, they at least see the point of everything that you've just done in that lesson. So rather than it being magnetism for magnetism's sake, at least they can see, oh, okay, I get that, I see that, I respect that. Magnetism is related to an MRI machine. And you know what? Sally went for an MRI last week. Now I understand how it works, a career related to it, and why I needed to know this. So more than anything, adding a STEM career will add instant relevance to every lesson across the pre-K to 12 grade spectrum. And this approach can be used by a lot of different types of teachers. So whether you're a teacher of any STEM subject, gifted and talented, using this as enrichment, or for students who have compacted out of a unit, and CTE teachers. All right, so tip number 2, wonderful. You've at least named a STEM career that relates to your lesson or to maybe once a week or something like that as you're starting out. And you've got some interest. Maybe there's a student that's really interested in a certain lesson that you did, or maybe they just want to learn more and explore. Awesome. The last thing you want to do is lose that engagement. So obviously the next step is to have a tool to help you leverage that engagement that you've worked so hard to build. A great way to do that is with STEM career lists, a starting point to show students more and give them a good tool to research. So we do have 5 different premium STEM career pages. I'll show you what they look like. We have an interests page, alphabetical, personality, gallery, and salary. Alphabetical is by far the most popular among schools and districts that use our premium pages. But regardless, you can use any of the 5 in the same ways. A, for yourself as a teacher, to find a career that relates to what you are going to do. So say you're doing a lab about phase changes. Phase changes is physics. What can I find? Okay, here, physicist. So maybe I can add that in as a career. So it can be used as a research tool for yourself. Step number 2 could be as an independent research tool for your students. So say you have an engineering connection for one of your lessons, and you have some students that are interested in engineering. You can send them to this page, and there's lots of different types of engineering careers that they can research and learn more to see if it's something they like, and furthermore, what field in engineering they might be interested in. So speaking of these pages, we have over 85 different career pages, and they're all set up in the same way. There's a diverse image of the professional doing the job, student-friendly definition, virtual job shadow, downloadable information sheet in English and Spanish, and a try it, which is a hands-on game or simulation to show the students what that real STEM professional does. So I found that there's a lot of resources where students can watch something or read something, but there's not a lot that gives them that next step of actually trying it, a test drive, so to speak. And that's what the try it for all of our career pages serves as. So quick to demonstrate the career information sheet. It's just an expanded definition, salary, soft skills, hard skills, all the information someone would need to see if it's a potential interest. As a note, when you click on the salary box for either career page, it takes you to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, which is where all this information is drawn from. Also another great step and a free resource that you can use. Of course, you can use my paid ones, but BLS is free and also functions in a similar way. As a quick note, all 5 premium pages are included free with any school or district bundle. All right, so you've added in a STEM career piece to some of your lessons. You've provided students or yourself with a research tool to continue exploring, to leverage their interest. And now the final tip is to provide a next step. And this is the critically missing piece that I feel our education system needs. So say you're a student, specifically a teenager in that upper elementary, early high school to early high school range. Say you already know, say I'm already interested in biology. I've already done some research. I've maybe even job shadowed. I want to just take that next step. There's virtually nothing out there to help students do that next step other than job shadows and internships. There's no online training platform for teenagers until now. So our STEM Career Challenge program is specifically popular among gifted and talented students and programs, as well as CTE teachers, using it as both an outreach tool for middle school and with their freshmen and sophomores as more of an exploratory program. So all of our STEM career challenges focus on a specific career, in this example, sustainability analyst, and they engage students using digital resources to explore that career, do what that real professional does, and prove that they can do it through a hands-on project. So for example, in this particular challenge, the challenge is for students to research companies in their community, connect with one, and explain how they're being sustainable. Students can progress at their own pace. There's videos, info sheets, infographics, checklists. Plus, as a teacher, you also get everything you need to seamlessly integrate our STEM challenges in the classroom. So for example, on your premium page that all subscribers get, you get your own teacher pack for every challenge, which includes PDFs, rubrics, slideshows, everything that the challenge includes, you get the actual hard copy versions of it with notes and directions on how to use all the challenge components within your classroom. Whether you're doing this in a regular science class, a gifted and talented program, using it for gifted students who have compacted out of a curriculum unit, or for CTE teachers, using it to connect their careers to their classroom. And again, as an awarded vendor, Keller teachers and students get 15% off our premium challenge program. So I did put together a page that will show everything that we offer according to the 2 bids that we are awarded vendors for. It's at careerinstem.com/product/Keller. It looks like this. And it's just links and a little bit more information that you can click around to see everything that your district has access to through our existing contracts. So thank you so much, guys. I hope that you have found some practical tips that you can use in your classroom. So again, thank you so much. I'm happy to answer any more questions if you want to shoot them to me via email. Also, if you were on this webinar and want to try out a free resource, I will mail you one of the free offerings that we have in our store so you can get a sense of what our lessons look like, as well as a free challenge that you can try out, one of the free samples. So thanks so much. I look forward to working with Keller and your students this year. Have a wonderful rest of the day.